Hey guys, it's JayTheShedPro. Today we're going to talk about how to use the 3D configurator. Now it's very simple. There's a lot of little things that we need to discuss, but in general, it's pretty simple. Now, if you've asked for a quote for some type of metal building, maybe from a different brand, you're probably going to have seen something very similar to this. A lot of these carport companies use pretty much the same idea room 3D configurator. So the colors may be a little different and things, but it should be pretty much the same thing. All right, so let's step into it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to look at these tabs over here on the right. So style, you would open that and then you would select the design you wanted, whether it's a garage, whether it's a horse barn, loafing shed, and then there's some other options here. How are you going to install it? Design on the roof, roof pitch, there's things like that you can choose here. And once you choose it, it'll actually show it to you. Let me show you, like if we're going to go to a 512 pitch, so watch this piece right here. Watch what happens. So see, there it is. It's automatically jumped to a 512 as opposed to the standard 312. All right, so there's a lot of things here. This is where you would adjust your sizing. The width is always going to be this way here. The length is front to back, and then the leg height is always going to be from the this corner edge right here. That would be the leg height. And this one, sides and ends rather. They're referring to these sides, and then this is always the side that has the gable is always considered the end. So in this case here, this is where you would do it. The front gable would be this end. The back gable obviously would be this part up here, and then the left side would be this side, and then the right side would be this side. And you can change these things. You can say, hey, maybe I don't want it to be fully enclosed. I just want, let's say, 5-foot panel. So then you'd have something like that. Okay, so then you can choose colors. You can choose if you wanted to add doors, roll-up doors, frame outs, those kind of things. You can add a cupola, which is the thing that goes on the top. Let me show you. It would look like that. There's your cupola. And so the colors, you can choose colors here. In this case, because it's a garage, you have the roof choice, the trim choice, and then the side panels. So here it would say roof, and it actually tells you right here what color is selected. The trim choice, the wall exterior, and then in some cases, like in my case, I have a cupola, so I can actually choose the color of that. Let's make it, I don't know, blue, just so you can see it. And then you can actually even choose the color of the roll-up doors. Let's say I wanted it to be red. I can do that. And then the wainscot, or wainscot, maybe some people pronounce it wainscot, wainscot. That's this colored piece here on the bottom. You can select that any color you want. Let's say we go red so we can match the doors. Or you can turn that off by just clicking this, and it makes it none. Okay, and as you can see, I'm shoveling this thing around or scrolling it around. I'm doing that by using my mouse. What I do is I press and hold the left mouse button, and then I just move my mouse, and I can move it left to right, and I can also move it up and down. Now, if I wanted to zoom into it, in my case, my mouse has a wheel on it. I can just roll in the wheel, roll out the wheel, and then if I want to look at underneath it, I can just do something like that. And then once I'm here, I can scroll it around. It's pretty fancy. Or you can use these things here on the bottom. If I wanted it to go left, I would go left, and it's going to probably go to the exact side. It's not going to leave you somewhere in between like that. And if you wanted to go right, you could go right. And then if you wanted to zoom in or zoom out, you could use these plus and minus buttons here. See, that zooms in, and then you can zoom out. And if you maybe you changed, you wanted to add, you did something and you didn't like the way it worked, you can undo it by selecting that. So you added the wainscot back in. And if you get to a point where it's like, hey, you know what, I just want to reset the whole thing, then you hit the reset button and it'll just start all over again. Okay, so there is that on the items on the left. Now, in your case, mine shows the sales tools, but in your case, you probably won't see that because it is that is only a dealer tool. So in your case, when I send you the email link to get to this page, you are not going to be signed in as a dealer. You'll be signed in as a guest, so you will not see that. In order for you to get a price, you'll have to configure it the way you want and then email it back to me. Actually, you'll go up here and hit the email link, And then here you would put in your information, your phone number, email address. Of course, these things with an asterisk, you'll have to put something in those boxes. And then answer the questions down here at the bottom. Hit the email link, and it will direct that email to me, but also to yourself so that you can log back in and do that. Now, there's a lot of other little things. You can share it here. You can view it in your space. View in your space is a really neat tool. It's a little complicated. But it's really neat. What you would do is you would select that, and then it's going to show you this QR code, and you'd get your phone, put it on there, and then it would say, okay, it would turn your phone into a live camera, and you would step out into your yard where you're going to put this building, and then it'll actually superimpose this building over that area that you're pointing your camera at. It is pretty fancy, but it's a neat little tool, so you can kind of see what it's going to look like in your environment. Once you've gotten that, again, you can send me the link. You can do any of these things up here at the top right hand corner. And if you have any questions, you can contact me. I will be glad to help you. One more thing I wanted to cover before we leave, something that's very important. There are different types of roofs. In this case here, this is a vertical roof. You know what? Let me get rid of. Okay, so in this case, it's a vertical roof, which means that the ridges run front to or top to bottom. You can also select a boxed eave, which keeps this same A-frame design, but what it does is it makes the panels go horizontal front to back. Now, this is one of the mid-range price roofs or designs, but if you're going to place this building where there's a lot of opportunities for leaves and things to fall on it, they will more than likely get stuck, and you'll have to get up there and wash them off if the panels run horizontally like this one. Or you can select the regular style, which means that it's going to round the corners over right here. And the same thing applies, though. The sheets on this are horizontal. So, again, if it's going under a tree, you may have problems with clearing all that debris off. If you go with the vertical roof, typically not going to be a problem because the ridges run top to bottom, as you can see here. So it makes it a big difference. The vertical roof is the more expensive one, but in some cases it's the right choice just because you're going to put it where leaves and things could fall on it. All right, guys. So I hope that was informative enough to get you started. I'm also going to make some videos where I will break down each individual buildings. Like in this case, I'll build a combo unit like this, and I'll show you how to work all the features of this particular design. All right, guys, so I hope that you enjoyed it. Like, share, and subscribe. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment here in the details or contact me at my email address, which I'll put also in the show notes. All right, guys, have a good day.